How's everybody doing this evening? We're back again doing the third podcast of the Asian Cup, like we did before. Unfortunately, today our regular panelist, Babak Godris, couldn't make it because of the time difference, and the same goes for Pezhman Pars, who just recently got sick. But once again, I'm back again with Alireza Peykan and Sina Saemian. Thank you guys for coming on, and how you guys doing this evening?
Hi, Pasha. Thank you for...
Sina?
Hi guys, it's great to speak to you.
Thank you very much. And today we have a special guest, but he's going to be a regular panelist, and it's a great Sarkar Amir Hashemi, who was a former international player that used to play for Team Melli and was a part of the squad in Esteghlal that won the Champions League. And I'm really grateful for him to come on. How you doing, Hashemi?
I'm fine, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And we have a special guest all the way from UK, Mahan Sajadi. How you doing, Mahan?
Hi, hope all is well, and look forward to talking about the Iran-Qatar preview.
Thank you very much. So, guys, the first thing we want to do before we go splashing and talk about Qatar, I want to preview the Bahrain game. First off, I'm going to start off with you, Sina. Could you please give a speech about what your thoughts were on the overall performance?
I think it was okay for the first game. They always say first games are the most difficult ones, and I think we dealt with it okay. Scored 2 goals from set pieces. Kept a clean sheet. There was a couple of new players coming in. We got to see them, and I think overall it wasn't bad for a start at all.
Yeah. So, Hashemi, I have a question for you. Even though knowing that Bahrain were much more prepared than Iran, they had a double-digit amount of friendlies since the World Cup, since when we were in the World Cup, and we were very unprepared compared to them. So how did we play, even though they were very fit? And for me, it was a really great performance, but how did you see it?
Yes, that's the reason I say always, if they are prepared and we are not prepared, and it says many things about our qualities. And I'm very sorry that we are not prepared. If we were prepared, maybe we had to do much more. Actually, I saw the game. We had some problems in the first 15 minutes, and they couldn't find each other, the players, and little bit pressure, I think. And I was very surprised how played Vuria Gafuri, because I saw him by Stepan many times playing. He is a very good player, and I think he put extra explosive and extra energy in our right side, and we have a much more strike from our right side. I think it's very good for Iran.
Alireza?
Pasha, I think we played a solid match, but you could see that we had a lack of friendly matches. I agree with Mr. Hashemi and Sina. On the right side, we played very well with Rafuri and Dejaga. We were searching for the way to score, overlapping, dribbling. But we didn't use the left side, so that worries me a little bit because of the big matches coming up. And in my opinion, I think if Alireza Canberk started earlier or started in the beginning, he has a lot of danger in him. He makes good rushes, so I think he was my man to begin with, because he shows it every week in the Dutch league. And I hope also that the coach has a solution for creating chances, because we don't create big chances. It's not too good for the striker. We scored 2 times from a corner kick. That's not enough to win big matches in this competition.
Thank you. And Mahan, I have a last bit of question for you. Our regular panelist, Babak, that couldn't be with us, gave me this answer, and he said his thoughts on the Bahrain game were that we weren't settled in the first 20 minutes, and the whole entire game Bahrain dominated us. Do you agree with that, or do you see another aspect of the game?
To some extent, I thought the first 15 minutes, understandably, we were quite shaky. Couldn't really keep much of the ball, get the passes going. But I thought we grew into the game. Adding on to the points of the panelists, especially, I thought the right side was really impressive, considering it was Vuria Gafuri's second cap. Him and Dejaga combined well. Dejaga especially causing all sorts of problems for the Bahraini left back. I thought another standout player was Mortaza Pouraliganji. Again, another second cap for Morteza, and I thought he was really composed on the ball, and he worked well with Sayed Jalal or Hosseini at centre back, which was really testament to the game. We showed good discipline also, I thought, and Ehsan Safi's goal was a particular highlight of the match, I thought. But again, if there was something to probably improve or say was a bit of a lack of a concern, was the service to Reza Ghoochannejhad, who I thought at times was very isolated and quite frustrated in the end.
Thank you. Now I'm going to go talk about a different aspect. We're going to go much more in detailed about the game. We know that Carlos Queiroz likes to play the traditional 4-2-3-1, or you could say a 4-1-4-1, whichever you want to say, but he's always notorious for being defensive-minded. Now my question to you guys is, do you agree with the lineup, and was this what you expected, Ali Reza?
I only would change a player with, in my opinion, Shojai with Jahan Bakhsh. That's the only thing that I would do. I know that Ghafouri played because Haydari is injured. So after seeing Ghafouri, I'm quite impressed. But I think if Jahan Bakhsh started the next match against Qatar, then it's no problem to play this defensive. If you play there's nothing wrong with it if you play defensive. But we must play good on the counter attack. We must focus a lot, and we must make the chances that we get. So that is the most important, what I think.
Sakho Hashemi, watching this game from a coach's aspect and as a player that you used to play for our country and for Esteghlal, what did you see that we haven't seen as fans or just as regular players or whatever? How did you see it?
Yes, if I look at the game, I heard now that Bahrain was dominating the game. Dominating the game, it can be by ball position, and maybe Bahrain has more ball position. We couldn't do that. We couldn't keep the ball very good, and the reason is if you see the last line of Iran from right to left, Huria, Hosseini, Ali Ganja, and Pouladi, you have two center backs. The both are right-footed. And I have to say, Ali Genji played super also very good. But if you have two players in the center and they are right-footed, and you need more time to build up the game. And then you have Nekunam with point and defending point, and then they put four other midfielders in the front of Nekunam, and that means you have a distance from your last line to the front line, which played Dejaga, Teimurian, Safi, and the distance was too big. If the distance is too big, you cannot have a more player comparing to the Bahrain, and you cannot pass the ball. If you look at, for example, how play Barcelona or other big teams, every time you have in one zone of the field, you have more players than opponents. And I heard about Ghoochannejhad. He didn't function. He didn't know what he has to do, because the thoughts of our coaches, we are very, very good in defending aspects. The elements we are doing in defending is great, but in attacking we have a problem, and the attacking needs build up from the last line. And if you cannot build up, you have to look at the moments you can attack. What Ali Reza said, I'm very agree with him. We scored 2 goals from the corner kick, and that's not good enough for Iran. And about the line, I think Jahan Bakhsh has to play anyway. He has to start always. He's very dangerous. He's very good. He's explosive. And I think Sardar Azmoun also has to start for Ghoochannejhad.
Thank you. Sina, Babak sent me this thing about his answer to this question. And he said, we play with quite high energy, we press well, but in the early part of our match, our central midfield, Nekonov, Ando, and Masoud Shojai were overrun. Was this because of our lineup, or was this just like they weren't on their best form?
Well, I think, my opinion might be a little unpopular, but I think Masood, in the overall game, I think he played better than he usually does. That was my personal opinion. I think he's not the best player we have in that role, but usually he's really poor. But I think in the game against Bahrain, he did much better than he usually does, let's say. And we were talking about Ghafouri just before, and I was adamant in the last podcast that he has to start, even if Haydari is fit. I think he's a much better option going forward, and especially with the way we play, I think pushing on can really help our wingers in sense of creating space for them. And Ghafouri did that really well. He kept overlapping Dejaga, taking the other defender with him, giving Dejaga the ability and the opportunity to take on the left back, and he did really well. He was running till the last minute of the game, and you could see how he was really up for it. In terms of defending, he had the highest number of interceptions in the team with 6, along with Nekunam. So once we didn't have the ball, he got back into position and did his job really well. But I think in Pour Ali Ganji, what we have, he's a defensive midfielder he's a defensive midfielder, and for a young player of his age to slot in at centre back, I think he did really well. And a stat from him which really stood out for me and made me think maybe this is the reason why he played that role, is that we usually don't produce ball playing centre backs. I think Montazeri was the only one who could do that role, but unfortunately he got an injury before the tournament, and he missed the tournament. And Pour Ali Ganji slotted in, and he had the highest pass completion in the entire team with 94%. So I think that might be one of the reasons why he played, because he's comfortable on the ball. He can look up, look for a pass, and he did really well. Haj Safi, of course, he was. Sometimes he goes unnoticed, the work ethic and the work rate that he puts in. But special mention has to go to him, not just because of his goal, but because of his performance as well.
Mahan,
Sina, I have a question for you.
Please.
Sorry, you were talking about Shujai, that he was that in your eyes he played well. He played like false 10, okay? False number 10 he played, okay? And my opinion is, in modern football, you have to fight. You have to be fit. You have to fight. You have to be strong. Look at the Japan team; they are all strong, fit guys. And I think, in my opinion, as I said it again, if you put Alireza on the right side and Dejaga is a lot stronger than Shujai in the middle, in the center, it can be. Then we can be more dangerous, because the rushes that Jan Bash makes. I tell you again, I see him play in the Dutch league. He makes a lot of meters, a lot of kilometers. He works a lot. He has a great cross. One-on-one, he tries to beat his man, not one time, 10 times, and in 5 minutes. He doesn't care, He beats them. I don't see Shojai with his fitness to fight. That is my opinion, Sina.
No, I definitely agree with you. I don't think Masood should play at all, but I think in terms of the game, compared to his previous performances, he was better. But I still don't think he's the player that I don't think he should be in the starting lineup. As you said, there is Jahan Bakhsh, and I think we have a couple of more options available than Masood. But even
Ibrahimi.
Yeah, exactly. Ibrahimi, even Sori Sharafi, can play that role. Also. I'm a huge fan of him. I think he's got great talent. But there's another thing that has struck me as well, is that I personally feel that Queiroz really likes his versatile players. And maybe because Masood can give him 2 or 3 options in 2 or 3 positions, because then he has the ability to change the formation, to change the style of play. And this is just a maybe. I'm not criticizing Jahan Bakhsh in any form, but maybe it's because that he's a young player. He can't play anywhere other than the right hand side. So he might think, well, he might be a little too naive.
So the age doesn't say anything. He's Alireza is the man of his club. You know, each week he proves that his club is leading the top table because of him. So we must use it. You know, we must use it. But I have another question for Mr. Hashemi. Mr. Hashemi, do you think that the big matches that are coming, for Jangid, that he is the central back that we need? Because, in my opinion, his marking, he's not a central back from his nature. So, are you thinking against the bigger?
Especially in the first 20 minutes as well, he was really eager to get stuck in when he could have just pushed the striker out rather than getting a foot in and tackling, and you could see that he was kind of nervous at the beginning of the game. But
that's what I mean. I want to know if Mr. Hashemi is a coach. I want to know how he thinks about it.
Reza, I am 100% agree with Sina, and because you need someone from your center backs. One of your center backs can build up. The Hosseini doesn't have this quality. We had Montazeri, but Montazeri is out, and we need someone else who can play football. The other option will be Sadeghi. I don't know if he's fit or not. He's left-footed, maybe, but I think for Ali Genji, he played by, if I'm not wrong, by Naft Tehran. He played very well in one of the in the control of the midfield, like a role Nekunam plays now. And he has a football quality. And to be honest, Ali Reza, if you play against Bahrain, against Qatar, or against UAE, we even don't need 4 defenders. We don't have to think about our last line. We have to think about football. And I think that Carlos Queiroz think also like that. He needs someone in the center backs, one of them, who can play football, which after 15, 18 minutes, you saw that for Ali Genji getting it's more and more courage. He played better and better and better. And but my I think always if I have a left-footed center back, I put always in left-footed there, because you have more tempo in your game. You have more speed if you for cross balls, and you can dribble the ball to the center. But I think at this moment with this team, we have to give him confidence. He played well in his official game, I think, for national team, and he can build up better than Hosseini or Sadeghi even.
Guys, I just want to quickly. There's a question that came up a couple hours ago, and from Admin Valley, and going back to the Shojai debate, he says that Shojai's performance, when we're analyzing Shojai's performance, should he be in the starting 11? Or is that just hindering Jahanbakhsh's play? Should he start? And I'm just gonna go start off with Mahan for this one. If you were Carlos Queiroz, or with the performance that Masoud Shojai recently has, for me, I think he's done. Because last time I think he played really, really well for us. It was back in 2010. So it's been a long, long time, and I always expected more, because he always did so well for his club, as opposed to his country. So with Mahan, do you agree with this question? What are your thoughts?
I guess to some extent, as previously mentioned in the last podcast, the problem at the moment we're facing with the Iranian national team is the lack of playmaking. The sort of the traditional number 10s, if they say, back in 2010, we had someone like Ali Karimi, who would orchestrate the midfield, and even after Ali Karimi, we had Mojtaba Jabari, who was sort of the playmaker in that respect. But unfortunately, the lack of the number 10 has become a big issue, and Masoud, in the face of a lot of criticism, has come under fire. Understandably so, I guess. To be honest, against Bahrain, he was not bad, much better than he previously was, I feel. Would Queiroz risk playing someone else at this stage? I'm not quite sure. Not quite sure. And sort of similar, back to your previous question, I think Queiroz will probably name the same lineup and look to Teimourian and Nekunam to defend him from deep. If you had to tell me who would I prefer in the number 10 position, I would probably say Surosh Rafi'i. I think it's worth giving him a try. I think he's young, he's hungry, he has bags of potential, and I think as Amir Hashemi mentioned, he's a fighter also. I think he'll give you 110% every game, and I feel against Qatar, because they even still have a chance, I think Suresh Rafi's inclusion would be ideal in my opinion.
So you would agree that he should start against Qatar?
For now, yes.
Right. Sarkar Hashemi, what do you think? Should Shojaei retain a spot, or should we go with a youngster Suresh Rafi, or just bring in somebody else, or put Osman sitting behind Gucci? What do you agree with this?
Yeah, my best player on number 10 position is in Iran, and they didn't even select him. I should bring Mohsen Musalman from Zobahan, but anyway, we are talking now about the tournament, and I say you have to see what is the best for the team at this moment, and if you have to think about it. If Shojaei plays against Bahrain, he played good, one of his best games last 3 years, I think, and he scored a goal. But if Suresh Rafi plays there, maybe he could do much better, or even Ibrahimi. I say it's now time for someone else. I say now we need on number 10 position, you need a creative player who can play in combination, who can give the passes between the doors, who can score the goals, and who can pass the opponents. Which means you need to have many qualities, and you need to be explosive in that position, which Shojaei is not anymore. I think my opinion is I agree if I will play on number 10 position, or Suresh Rafi, or you put Ibrahimi there.
Reza?
I agree with Mr. Hashemi. I think the playmakers that we need, Carlos Queiroz, he hasn't picked them. In my opinion, he could talk again with Jabari, because Jabari couldn't go to the World Cup because of his fitness. But I think he's now playing well for Al Ahly, and he's the best playmaker that we have. And his passes are really smart passes. He can set a striker one-on-one every match 2 times, 3 times. And I think Mo Salman, Saderian, even Mohamed Nouri are great playmakers.
Yes,
but
yes.
Yes, but they have chosen for fighters. If you look at the midfielders, they're all fighters. We have fighters. Only Shojaei is a creative one. But in my opinion, Guchanejad and Shojaei, they have too much credit by Queiroz. So there's a small chance that Osman is going to play, is going to start. In my opinion, he's a talented striker. He also scores a lot. But Guchanejad, he has proven that he has saved Queiroz. To be honest, he has saved them. And it's going to be hard to one of these guys to set them on the bench with this coach. It's going to be hard. So I think he starts again. But in my opinion, I would not choose for referee or something. I will let Jambers play. I think that even Hajsafi can also play on the center, because he has done it sometimes with Sepahan in the Asian Champions League matches. And Dejaga can play center and on the left side. So I think if I say it again, I told it several times, Jambers, in my opinion, he needs to play because of his fitness, because of his crosses, and this is what a striker needed. And also I have a question again for Mr. Hashemi. We were talking about Purai Changvi and also Sina. They say he can build up, but between the defenders and the strikers, it's too much space. In my opinion, we never could build up. We are always searching for the long ball to the sides. Is that no problem?
Yes, that you're right. The distance is very. We have to make the football field 10 meter, but we make it 60 meter. You're right, Ali Reza. But if you take him out from a center back, and you have nothing anymore, nothing. You know, and once more, we have to dominate the game. You can dominate the game not just by winning the game. You have to dominate the game, keep the
Control
ball,
the game. Yeah.
control the game, keep the ball in position, and touch the ball for 10, 12, or 15 times, and you enjoy it if you do that. And we won against Bahrain, of course. We played not bad, we played good, but I understand that everybody's happy. I am very happy. I'm very proud, but we have to be very serious. We have to think serious. We scored 2 times from the corner kick, and we didn't create many chances. Yes, we scored another goal. It was a real goal, good chance. But we need more. We need more than just defending. We have three very important. We have three very important functions in football. One is striking. Other one is defending, and the third one is the comeback to the game. Which means if you lose the ball, or if you have the ball. If we lose the ball, we are the master to come back in our position. But if we win the ball, we get the ball, we don't know what we have to do. That's the problem from us. Right? I think we have to think much more about the first step to building up how we can reach our midfields.
Sina?
Well, there's an answer to your question in regards to Persian. I think he does what he's told to do, which is to get the ball and give it to his midfielders. So I don't think the lack of the playmaking issue that we've discussed, I don't think you can put it on him. I think his job is to get the ball and release it either to his fullbacks or give it to the nearest midfielder, and he's done that. To the rest of the play, it's up to the midfielders to put the passes together and build up to play. But I think in terms of what he's been told to do and his job, I think he did it well. He did what he's told to do anyway.
Now I'm gonna go ask another question, and I'm gonna start off with this again. Once you've seen, is that looking how we played in the World Cup, obviously we had to be very defensive-minded, and believe it or not, being very unprepared, we just basically had 2 friendlies post-World Cup. So I was thinking we're going to be very defensive. We're going to be playing very defensive against Bahrain, but no, we actually, got the ball out. We were very hungry. We wanted to score. Deja, we saw a little bit of Alexis Sanchez with him. He was ball hugging. The work rate was high up. Did you see any major changes in the way we played, and were you surprised by that?
Well, to be fair, I didn't really expect us to be as defensive as we were in the World Cup because, with no disrespect to Bahrain or Qatar or UAE, they're not Bosnia or Nigeria. So I would actually have been very, very disappointed if we were going to be as defensive as we were then. But of course, we weren't going to change our counter-attacking mindset, if you like, and we still had that during the Bahrain game. So, yeah, I mean, in terms of the way we played, in terms of the way we counter-attacked, I didn't see that much difference, especially with the lineup, with the only changes being in the back 4 with Ghafouri and Pouraliganji. So from the back 4 onwards, it was pretty much the same team as the one we played in the World Cup. So the build-up play and the way we were going to attack opposition, it was always going to be the same for me.
Mahan?
Well, in that respect, I would like to sort of turn the question around if possible. In terms of the game against Qatar, would you say go for a 4-4-2, given their goalkeeper, especially Nasser Borhan in particular, had a few blunders against the UAE, and he was very poor in a domestic team with Al Gharafi, and they also their most capped centre-back, Bilal Mohammed, at the back, I think over 100 caps for Qatar. He was a massive loss, I think, against the UAE, and in terms of them conceding 4 goals against the United Arab Emirates. Do you feel we should go 4-4-2, stick Asbun next to Gucci, solve the isolation issue, and go sort of all-out attack, if that makes sense, against Bahrain? Or do you think Queiroz he'll stick to the resilient, the defensive and the disciplined, regardless of the opposition, and stick to that formation?
I want to come back to that question when we once get to the Qatar, because I just believe that we should just like discuss right now what we're doing with the preview for Bahrain. But if you're asking me personally, we should all go out, because if we go all out and we beat Qatar, they're out, and we're gonna advance to the second stage with most likely UAE if they beat Bahrain too. But once again, are we gonna go with a 4-4-2? I doubt it. I think we're gonna go with the traditional 4-2-3-1 that we've seen. But once again, I feel like when we play in Qatar, then we know how attacking minded they are, and they have a couple notable players, like Khalfan, Khouki, and they were just recently the champions of the Gulf Cup, right? So it's gonna be very interesting to see if Kairos is gonna sit back and let them counter us, and sit back and let them attack us, and we counter them and win by then. But I think we should go all out, because if we beat them, we advance, and they're out of the Asian Cup. But once again, it's Carlos Queiroz. He's very unpredictable at times, and we've seen that at the start of the Asian Cup. But that goes by time. So how do you guys see it, Sarkar, Hashemi, with the question that Mahan just put out?
Yes, it's not important which formation you play. It's important what is your intention. I say always, we don't have a tactic, we don't have a formation if we don't have a intention to do what the coach asks. What I think, if you want to play against Qatar, is you have to put the pressure from the first minute, with or without ball, doesn't matter. Just put the pressure. You see, we know, and how difficult they can defend. They don't have the organization to defend against strong strikers and against the team who put the pressure on them. My opinion is Carlos Queiroz doesn't matter with which players, but with which system. He has to take care that the team put the pressure on Qatar from the first minute of the game, and doesn't let them to think about football, doesn't let them to see each other, and doesn't let them to come back. If we score early goal, I can promise you it will be a huge result for Iran. That's what I think.
Alireza, anything you'd like to add?
Yes. First of all, I think that it's going to be a great atmosphere in the stadium because of the Iranian fans. They do a good job. They're cheering a lot, and I think the Qataris are not used to it, because if you look at the league matches, it's always 400 people sitting there. But I think if that is a big point for us, the Iranian fans. I would like to see them pressuring, like Mr. Hashemi said, but I don't think they are going to do it because of the match fitness. In my eyes, they weren't fit enough against Bahrain. It concerned me a little bit, but the good point is Qatar needs to come, and if you look at the player selection, Karash isn't gonna attack. If you look at the players that he has, they are not creative players. They are not dribblers. He doesn't want the ball. He wants to counter-attack. He wants to play like the World Cup, focusing all 90 minutes for 2-3 chances. But we need to make him this time. That's what I think he's gonna play, and I think we are on our best if we counter. This is a different. Asia has changed. A few years back, Iran was playing nice football, attacking football with Ali Daya Azizi, Ali Karimi. But we have changed. Our mentality has changed. We are now a counter-attack nation. That's what I think.
Sina.
Yeah, I think even if we wanted to play expansive football, if you want to call it that, the lack of preparation, which we've already spoke of, kind of, we can't play a different style of football because we haven't had really good preparation. So yeah, I don't think there's any possibility in this tournament anyway of us going out there and trying to dominate games or really attack teams, if you like. But Ali Reza just said in recent years we've turned into a counter-attacking team. Would I be right in assuming that we'd all be disappointed if this change that we've seen in recent years becomes a permanent change rather than a temporary change?
Yes, of course. I think it's disappointing if you're a football fan, but if you want to succeed in football, it can be a good point because of Iranians. They like to defend. When we defend well, it's not easy to score against us. But if you have a good striker, they can like Azmoun in the next few years, and a few good wingers, then we can play a good counter-attack. Like you saw in the World Cup, what the Dutch team was playing. They were also playing 5-3-2, but they played well. So if you play focused and if you finish your chances, then it can be a very good style of football.
So, guys, I want to go back to the last topic to talk about the Bahrain match. And we know Haj Safi's half-volley strike was absolutely world-class. It was one of the best goals that I've seen in a long time from Team Melli. It was shocking to see an Iranian player score something like that. He obviously won. He was the man of the match, according to Asian Cup. But for me, it was Ashkan Dejaga. I just think he was absolutely phenomenal. Minus the one-on-one he had. It was a brilliant pass from Mahan Sajadi. Who was your best player on the pitch, Mahan?
For me personally, I thought Sina Saemian actually was my favorite player. I think his role in the team is really underrated in terms of what he brings, the energy, the dynamism. He can play in a number of positions. His goal to score it at that moment of time effectively changed the game plan and the team talk at half time. And I think he's really underrated at 70 caps also for the national team. He's highly experienced for such a young lad. And I guess I hope to see him continue to shine like he did against Bahrain and see him at a European club soon. So for me personally, I thought Sina Saemian had a great influence in the game. But other standout, again, yes, Dejaga had a great game. And I thought Murtaza Purali Ganji and Vuria Ghaffari were also standouts in my eyes.
Ali Reza?
I think if you look at work rate and courage, Dejaga was the man of the match. But I have chosen Ghaffari because it was one of his first matches in a big competition, and he did very well. He has shown the Iranian fans that he has the quality to play there and to be the number one in the next tournament.
Sakar Hashemi?
I'm agree with Ali Reza. If I have to make a choice from 1 to 4, Dejaga is first, but I will go for Vuria because it's his first official game and he played very well. And Dejaga and I think Haj Safi third place, and I go for Purali Ganji for fourth place.
Sina?
Yeah, I think talking of Dejaga's performance, we all expected him to do much better at the World Cup, but he was disappointing. And I kind of put that down to the fact that he had no one to support him when he was going forward. So he always used to have, a couple of defenders around him and eventually lose the ball. And that is one thing that he did have in this game against Bahrain, was the freedom of being able to take on players, one-on-ones. And it was Ghaffari's overlaps and runs which gave him that ability, which I've already mentioned. So I think they really connected well. So, yeah, I think both of them played well. As Mahan said, Hashtafi is a great player. I think, as he said, he goes unnoticed in the team. The way he plays, especially with the way with the style that we have. He can play in different roles, defensively or going forward. He's comfortable on the ball. As he said, for someone who's only 24 years old, he's got just under 70 caps. So, yeah, I think even in the long term and in the next generation coming through, I think he will be one of the key players, and I personally see him as a future captain as well. So it's great to see him perform.
Yeah. So, guys, I have one last question, and this comes from a fan and somebody that's a Czech football writer, Thomas Danicek, and he says his question is for us is how much do you guys rate value Ashkan Dejaga? We know 4 years ago Afshin Golbi was very, very close to getting him to play for us in the Asian Cup, but that unfortunately never happened because of visas or whatever. But once again, how do you guys rate Ashkan Dishgan in recent times, and do you guys rate him at all? Mahan?
Personally, I believe he's stand above Asia in my eyes. I mean, someone who could have easily broke into the German national team. I mean, if it wasn't for suspension for the under-21 Euro final in 2009, he would have started that match against England, and it could have even been more than 4-1, which was the final result. I believe we're really lucky to have him. I remember his home debut was against Qatar in the World Cup qualifying match, and you could just see the pace and the exuberance and the energy he brought to the national side. Everyone sort of was standing up on their seats in Azadi when they saw the Jaga for the first time. And I thought even in that game he combined really well with Haydari, and we saw even in Bahrain with the right back Afuri, it was even more impressive, I thought. And I feel the Jaga's contribution to the national team is vital, and I would rate him as definitely our best player. And I wish we saw him earlier in the national team. It could have really helped, especially in the Hashemi era.
Alireza?
He's one of the best players that we have, so I rate him really high. It's disappointing that he doesn't played a lot in Fulham when he played in Fulham, because when he played in Germany, he was one of the key players for Wolfsburg. But in England, in my opinion, he didn't well. So that's a pity that he plays now in Qatar. But for the national team, it's very important.
Saka Hashemi?
I think the Ashkan is, is one of the best players in not just Iran, in Asia, and he is energetic, he's explosive, he can keep the ball, he can play the ball, he has a good cross, he has a good shot, he can score the goals, and I hope personally that he get a little bit more freedom from the trainer. He's the player, he has to fly. He has to go to left, to right. I think maybe the best position for him is number 10 position. He can go to left or right, but for me, he's one of the top players in Asia.
Anything you'd like to say, Sina?
I don't think there's anything else to add. The guys have already
I'm just messing with you.
There is, but you can just see the way he plays. That he's had that European upbringing, which we lack in our team right now, because barely any of our players play in Europe, and you can just see that the way he looks at the game and his footballing brain is one of Europe, which I think, of course, is a great help to us.
Guys, now I really appreciate all your inputs that we just had for the post-match for Bahrain. Now we're going to go talk about the preview that we're going to for Iran versus Qatar match. So there's been recent rumors that Teimourian will be out. Now let's say that he is out. Who would you guys like to be dropped and be replaced? My personal opinion, I would really like to see Hajsafi being in the center mid role, linked up with Nekuram to, kind of like cut off the supply line of Qatar and make a role for Alireza Jahanbakhsh to play, maybe put Dejaga at the left wing and make Alireza Jahanbakhsh play right wing. Saka Hashemi, who would you like to be replaced? Let's say Ando Teimourian is out, who would you like to be replaced?
Dear Pasha, I agree with you. I will choose definitely for Alireza Jahanbakhsh. And don't forget, Alireza Jahanbakhsh plays also many games in Dutch league in left side.
Yes, exactly.
Even they can put Dejaga right side and Alireza left side, and Hajsafi in the center, and number 10 position. And he has a quality, Hajsafi, he's dangerous with his shots, doesn't matter, Dejaga can play left side, but my choice will be absolutely Alireza Jahanbakhsh.
Alireza?
What I've heard today is that Teimourian is going to play, because he has also trained today.
Mm-hmm.
He attended the press conference as well, so I'm guessing he will start.
Yeah, so I've heard that he has played and trained.
Go ahead.
Why he did press conference?
I don't know. Normally Nekuram does it.
This is clever. I think this is clever thing from Carlos Queiroz. I'm afraid that Teimourian doesn't play. Carlos Queiroz will put him on the camera, just let the people see he's ready. I don't know. Maybe it's the some
It can
politics
be.
from him.
Now now I'm gonna go back.
But why has he trained?
Yeah, I was just about to say that I read he trained today.
He has a real hamstring problem. Ali Reza.
Yeah.
With a good hamstring problem, you are out for a few weeks. But I hope,
yeah, of course.
yes, I hope he's not. He has no problem because he's good player.
Arisa, I'm gonna ask you a devil's advocate question. We know Babak Godri's, he wants Omide Ebrahimi to play that role. Would you agree with him?
I agree totally with him. But still, like Mr. Hashemi said, Ali Reza Janbash needs to play. I would change him also. So I will let Ali Reza play and Ebrahimi also. So I will take out Shojai. I would put Ali Reza on the right side because he has the best cross in the Iranian team. Ebrahimi play in the center, bring Hajsafi to the 10, and the Jaga, like he played in Fulham, he scored a lot of goals when he cuts inside from the left side. He cuts inside and he has a great shot. So that can also be dangerous.
Sina?
Yeah, although I'm a huge fan of Ebrahimi, I think that role which Andranik plays next to Nekunam is too big for someone who's barely been part of the Team Melli setup, if you like, to slot in. I think Yahad Safi, I think, is probably the option he will go for if Andranik is out. And I'd like to see Jahan Bakhsh coming in. I'd like to see him in anyway. But if Andranik's out and he's preferring to play Haj Safi in his role, then if Jahan Bakhsh doesn't play, I'd be very, very disappointed. I'd be fuming.
Anything you'd like to add, Mahan?
Sorry. Sina, if we let Ebrahimi play, then we have with the Qatari goalie, then we have Jahan Bakhsh, who can he has a great shot. Then Haj Safi has a great left shot. Ebrahimi can score from 50 meters. With what he does by Esteghlal, he's the man of Esteghlal with the shots and the Jagger.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
that would
course,
be a great thing.
I agree with you. But I don't think I think Queiroz wants to make sure he has that defensive stability before attacking. That we've seen him do it for over a year now. So, again, it's not my personal opinion. It's not something I would go for. But considering what he's done, I don't think he is as much an unpredictable manager as we think he is. I think he's going to go with something he's tried before.
I agree. He's not that.
I agree.
I have one more question for you guys, and this is going to be, despite the result that UAE versus Qatar was, and we know Qatar got battered, but it was really interesting to see they hadn't lost in 14 matches, and UAE defeated them. What should be our tactics against Qatar? Should we go all out against them, or play defensive like in the World Cup and counterattack them more, or just hit them hard like just like UAE did? Sina?
I think we've kind of discussed this already, but I don't think we'll see that much changes. But Qatar are a good team. I know they've lost 4-1 to UAE, but I don't think Queiroz will underestimate them at all. And again, I know I'm saying this a lot, but he's focusing on making sure things are solid at the back before we can nick a goal or two and win the game. So I'm not sure if he will go out to fully attack or put out, press high up on the pitch, play with a high defensive line. I can't see that happening. I think we're still going to approach the game with the same way as we did against Bahrain, try and not absorb pressure, but make sure we don't get exposed as much before going and getting a goal. And I can see us getting a lot more goals in the Asian Cup if we I can see us getting a lot more goals from set pieces in this tournament if we are to go far, because I still think that is our that's our biggest threat.
Sir Hashemi, on a personal term, how would you like us to approach Qatar?
Yes, I agree with the guys. I think that Carlos doesn't change many things. It doesn't like that. That's the experience of the coach. I think we will approach Qatar almost the same way we approached Bahrain. And the problem is, if you look at our games, we score 2 goals from 2 chances. And we even before World Cup against Korea, we had really no chance, but we make one. He knows, Carlos Queiroz knows, we can score always. He just need to keep the 0 for us, doesn't get a goal, but we can always score. And that's the problem with Iran team right now. I think Carlos doesn't change too much. If I'm a coach, I just put a little bit more attacking players who are, because the goalkeeper, and the central defender of the Qatar are not. I think they are very bad. It's not the level of Asian game how they play. I will put Sadar Azmoun and Alireza Jahanbakhsh, and but I'm afraid that he doesn't do that.
Alireza?
As a fan, I say attack. But if I was the coach, I wouldn't attack a lot, because there's a tournament, and you cannot play one match attacking football and one match counter football. So I think Queiroz is quite a disciplined guy, so he will play always the same tactic and with the same players. That is what I told you 3 days ago. He has a squad. For his squad, in his mind, is 14 people, 14 players, and this is what he wants to use. He's not a guy that changes a lot. So this, for me, is disappointing. So because I like to see the young players also make more minutes, because his substitutions are, in my opinion, also very late. For a winger like Alireza or Sardar as a striker, you cannot play for 8 minutes. You can show nothing in 8 minutes. So if you're a striker and you have 8 minutes to prove yourself, you always lose. And if you look at the space that we gave away, you don't get chances, you don't get the ball, so you always lose, because the coach says, I give you a chance, but you can do nothing in 8 minutes. So I think he needs. If I was the coach, I will change a little bit the style. I will play more attackingly, and also I will substitute earlier in the 55th minute, 60th minute. I will give Alireza the chance, Sardar the chance, so they can prove, they can come into the match, they can do something.
Mahan?
Yeah, I would agree with most of the panelists' points. I would like to add also, just to sort of summarize, I wouldn't read too much against the shock result the UAE caused against Qatar. Qatar can still cause Team Melli lots of problems for team preparation games, and the confidence still, I guess, high in terms of winning the Gulf Cup. As Andranik even mentioned in the press conference today, it's their final chance. They've got nothing to lose, to be honest with you. I think they would try go for an all-out attack, and maybe if we keep that sort of restricted counter-attacking approach, maybe we can cause Qatar lots of problems in that respect. But again, we have to be realistic. Still think we'll play the defensive game regardless of the opposition, and I still will see mostly the same lineup. There's also one point I would like to add to the group. What would you make in particular of the new foreign additions to the Qatari setup? Not much is known about them. The 2 Congolese-born strikers, there's a new Algerian nationalized player for the Qatari national team. Do you think, because they're such an unknown quantity in that respect, they could cause the same problems like we saw in the World Cup qualifiers that the old Latin American guard of Sebastian Soria and Fabio Cesar used to cause Team Melli?
Psycho Hashemi, do you want to answer that?
Yes, that's right. That's right. We have the much more important thing is at this moment we always say everybody's maybe agree we need a new blood, we need a new young player, but don't forget we have to go to the second round, and what's Carlos Queiroz thinking right now. And about the player in Qatar, we know that they have a different. I think even in the central defense, plays a Trezor. I think is Nigerian or from Ghana, but we have to prepare. I'm agree. We have to prepare because they have to win the game. That's the good point for us, for Iran. Qatar has to win the game, and we have to concentrate. That's very important thing.
Sina?
Yeah, I think as Mahan said, they've got a couple of new players. They've got a Ghanaian as well, Montari, his name is. Yeah, I mean, they play in the Qatari Stars League, so I'm sure the Team Melli staff can find loads of videos and games of them to analyse them. So in that sense, I'm not sure if it will be that much of an unknown quantity, but I can understand where he's coming from. So I think the team would be very, very well prepared. Kerush is an experienced manager. I don't think he would let details such as individual players analysing them, go amiss. I'm sure he's done his homework on each player.
Exactly, and I think Kerush doesn't want to put extra pressure on the players.
Mm-hmm.
The good coach has to take care that his team is prepared, not just physically, not just tactic, also mental, is prepared to play. Sometimes you don't have to say anything to your players. Just close your eyes, open your heart, and play 90 minutes football. And I think the Carlos Queiroz will, of course, do that. I'm sure about that.
He does a fantastic job when it comes to man management. Ali Reza?
I think the Qataris are really scared against us because their last chance. There's Iran, so they want to win from Iran, but we are a dangerous opponent. Our players are the stars in the Stars League of Qatar, so they have a lot of much pressure than we do. So that's why I'm not worried. I think 1-0 win, it's perfect for us. We don't have to score a lot, because if we want to score a lot, then it could be a two-way match. We don't want to do it. It's 1-0 is enough, and then we will, against the Emirates, we will play one-on-one for the top spot in the table. But I think the Qataris are very nervous, because we are leading in Asia, and we have the best players in their stars and their leagues. They play with Iran, so I think they are nervous. That's what I think.
Guys, I really think...
Guys, I just wanted to add one last point as well to something that Ali Reza, a point that he made a few minutes ago in regards to the late substitutions and the amount of players that we use in the game, which is 13 or 14. I think if you're a fan and you believe that you can go and win a competition of 5 games in the space of 3 weeks, using players wouldn't get you anywhere near that title. That's my personal opinion. I agree with Ali Reza. I think in regards to substitutions, they have to be made a lot earlier. And if they really believe that they can win the trophy, then they have to make changes in the starting 11, whether it's the game against Qatar or UAE or a game in semi-final. We can't go and play with the same 11 for 5 games, especially with the fitness levels that we know of these players. They won't be able to cope with it. Also, a point that the players made after they came back from the World Cup was that in the game against Bosnia, they were suffering from, and that was because of the way we were playing a defensive game, chasing the game for 120 minutes in the last 2 games. The concentration levels have to be really high, and they were mentally tired against Bosnia, and they just couldn't carry on after a certain period against Bosnia. So I think that could be really crucial if we want to go far in this competition. We have to make changes in the starting 11. Whether he will make this is something that we have to wait and see.
Anything you guys would like to add to what Sina said?
Yes, I'd like to add, because it's not only the first 14, but also like now Teimurian is injured. Ibrahimi didn't play, so and he's also nervous now for the match. But if you let him play, and you have a good squad rotation, and everybody knows the position and the team, they are more likely to play. They have more confidence. It's also mentally. But I think Mr. Hashemi is a coach, and he knows more about it.
I think what important is, and what I like in Carlos Queiroz, I've been in Austria before World Cup by the football camp in Austria. I saw the team. I saw how they train. I saw how they talk to each other. I saw them in the hotel. The very good quality of Carlos Queiroz is he has made a team of Iran. And you see that also in this tournament. And I think it's much important than 1, 2, 3, 4 till 11 players. He made a good team, and they fight for each centimeter for each other. And I think it's one of the quality which Iran has at this moment. I just wanted to add this one.
Yes, I agree, Mr. Hashemi, but I also spoke with players that they are not now on the team, but they were at the World Cup. And they didn't play. So, but I told them how was the World Cup. They said it was nice, a good experience. Everything was professional. It was good to be with the team. But the problem was that they knew that they are not going to play. Even when they especially told me this. One player told me this. Even if I play very good at the training, I knew I wasn't going to play because.
That's right, Ali Reza. Because to be a trainer, you have to make choices. If you make choices, almost 90% of the trainers, they know the first 8 or 9 players for his start line. I know, as a coach, 8 or 9 players will play always. The next 2 or 3 players, a little bit thinking about that. But as a coach, you don't want to give some players the false hope, And if I use you in 2 friendly matches in Austria, which I've been, in 2 different friendly matches, you use the player you don't want to use in World Cup. Why you have to do that? You understand me?
Yeah, I understand. I totally understand. But what my meaning is, Mr. Hashemi, like I compare it again with the Dutch national team at the World Cup. You saw that Louis van Gaal, he was not. It was not his plan to let Memphis Depay and Congolo play. But at the trainings, they were such in a good form. So he let young guys, 18 and 19 years old, he let them play in the World Cup. So that's what I think we have to. I think the coach of Iran, it doesn't matter who it is, they have to be more solid. If one young guy plays good, he needs to play.
I'm 100% agree with you, but you have to think on the moments. In World Cup, I'm 100% sure why, for example, Ali Reza Jambas plays just 6 minutes against Argentina.
Yeah.
Because Carlos Queiroz is a trainer. He has references. He doesn't want to lose the game with 3, 4, 5 goals. 1-0 against Argentina is almost wins for him. But in this tournament, it's not about to give the chances. It's about the results. And I'm sure the contract of Carlos Queiroz, they mentioned you have to win the championship in Asia, but after Asian game, you have to do some revolution. And he has enough time for the World Cup to use the younger player, to use the other player. But I'm almost sure that during these tournaments, the result is the priority, and the trainer doesn't want to change a lot. That's what I think.
Thank you guys for all your input, and then this is the last question that I have for you guys, which is going to be the predictions. What are your predictions? And Babak Godris goes with the pessimistic thing that he always goes with, and he believes that we're going to draw 1-1, which is a quite big possibility. What are your predictions, Ali Reza?
At the Bahrain match, I said 2-0, and now I say 1-0 for Iran.
1-0. Sina?
And I hope that it's not on a set piece. It's not a free kick or a corner.
Yeah, a free flow game. All right, Sina?
Yeah, Babak is a pessimist because he's a Blackburn fan. He's used to better things and not really.
He talks sense. That's all that matters.
Yeah, of course. I'm only messing. But,
yeah.
I agree with Ali Reza. I would like us to score 2 goals, but I can't see it happening. But I still think a clean sheet is the most crucial thing if we want to win any game in this tournament. And yeah, I'm going to go for a 1-0 win as well.
Mahan?
I would agree. Also, I actually think 1-0 would be a realistic result and also very achievable. I believe also in terms of our togetherness and our spirit and our determination also could go a long way in this tournament. So I definitely feel a win against Qatar is achievable, and I'm going to go for a Reza Ghoochannejad poacher type finish.
Like we saw in the World Cup qualifier. Sarkar Hashemi?
I agree with everyone. I think it will be difficult, but I think the important thing is when we score the goal, Iran. If we scored early goal, maybe it's more, but I think it's very difficult. I will be very happy if we win the game with 1-0.
Thank you guys for all your inputs, and I just want to discuss something really small. Ballback Goldrees' Twitter handle and Pezhman Pars' Twitter will be in the bio. And Mahan, if you could just tell the viewers what's your Twitter handle.
Yep, it's twitter.com/Caspian Football.
Sina?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at SINA_SA.
And then Ayra's information is online if you want to contact him through the website. His football agency for agents. And then the great Sarkar Hashemi, what's your Twitter handle?
You can look at the website if you like, AFFG.NO.
Thank you very much. Once again, I really appreciate you guys coming and talk about Team Melli like always. It was always a pleasure to have you guys on, and hopefully, Mahan, you could come on more as a regular. And once again, Sarkar Hashemi, Ayra, Sina, thank you for making time for this. I know it's very early in the morning for you guys now, and same goes for Mahan, but I can't thank you guys enough, and I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Pasha. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.